Hello, everyone. Hi, I'm Ece. I'm a regional director for Western Europe and MENAT regions at AppsFlyer. We focus on helping app marketers understand their data and make better marketing decisions. And I'm really happy to have this wonderful panel here with us today. And we're going to talk about a lot of hot topics, sharing interesting insights, but I want to get to the good stuff quickly. So let's start with a round of introductions. Can you give me a brief intro about yourselves, your app, and in 2 or 3 words, your main challenges from 2024, Jessica?
Perfect. Hi everyone. I'm Jessica. I'm the head of performance marketing at Paired. I've been working in the app business since 8 years now. Really loved this field. I'm taking care of anything that is related to performance strategy, user acquisition, running and managing campaigns across different channel and funnel, and leading the creative effort as well, which is becoming so important right now when it comes to user acquisition. I started my career in, as I mentioned, with apps. I started working in Once, a dating app. After I moved to Bending Spoons, which they own a portfolio of different apps in different verticals, so I was able to move across different verticals, starting from photo editing, video editing, VPN, health and fitness, really a lot, to be honest. And then 3 years ago, I moved back to relationship vertical with Paired. So I started with dating, and now I'm taking the next step, which is taking care of the relationship among couples. And Paired want to become a leader in this new vertical, relationship care. The idea is to offer a resource for couples to rely on to support them in their day-to-day struggle, to stay connected, improve their communication. It does support the couple in any stage of their relationship, either from the beginning when they're starting dating and they get to know each other, to maybe when they move in, they start a family, and they are facing really many struggle, and we're trying to support them. Out there are no many resources, so what the Paired wants is, be there for couples during their...
interesting vertical. You should do a specific one for going through renovation together.
Yeah.
I think that will be a nice one. And can you tell me your main challenges from this past year in 2 or 3 words?
Good question. So beside the usual struggle we have with trackability, attribution due to data privacy policy, I think in the past year, I've been seeing an increase in competition, which is having an impact on either cost. They've been raising a lot when it comes to paid user acquisition, but also we've been struggling a lot to stand out with our creative, with our ads. I would say these 2 are the main challenges we've been facing.
We are going to talk about those. Thank you. Matej?
Yeah. Hi, everyone. My name is Matej. I work as an ASO manager / growth partnerships manager for the company called Pixel Federation. We focus, it's a company based in Bratislava, Slovakia. We are about 250 people strong, and we focus on free mobile games, mostly the transportation tycoons and puzzle games. And our main challenges for the 24 was mostly creative fatigue and fake ads versus the real gameplay across all the placements you can even imagine. That's it.
Right. Thank you. Thanks so much. Marta, you want to go?
Hi, everyone. My name is Marta. I work for Synapticon. Synapticon has 2 different apps. One of them is called NeuroNation, and another one is called NeuroNation Med, so not too far apart. And the latter one actually helps people and patients who struggle with cognitive impairment, which means that it can only be prescribed by a doctor, and it helps those patients navigate this challenging landscape. The second app, NeuroNation, is obviously not used by patients, but for people such as yourself or myself. And it is basically a fun brain training. So at the moment, 20 to 30% of population is estimated to have mild cognitive impairment. However, it's projected in the next 20 to 30 years that this might double. So obviously, the risk is very high, so I can encourage you all only to take care of your cognitive health already now and use NeuroNation. But other than that, going to challenges of the year, I have joined the company 7 months ago, so I've been very new to the team, and I think one of the first challenges has been getting to know the products, navigating through the complex bureaucratic environment as the apps we work on are authorized and clinically tested, NeuroNation MENAT. So that means that there is a lot of bureaucracy behind it and a lot of compliance that comes with it. And obviously getting to know the product and everything what has happened in the marketing department over the last 10 years. It's an established app, at least NeuroNation, because NeuroNation MENAT is a new one, not as old, not as mature. So yeah, I think this has been the biggest challenge for me, getting to know everything what has happened in the last 10 years, and obviously getting started and keeping up the pace and keeping up the growth, which is I think the struggle and the challenge for all of us here.
Hello, everyone. So my name is Misha. I'm growth director at Kolibri Games. So I joined the company about 3 years ago, and this is my 18th year in gaming and 8th year in marketing. So I oversee all marketing activities in our company, user acquisition, app store optimization, creative production, and data. Kolibri Games is a developer and publisher of Idle Tycoon games. So our flagship is Idle Miner Tycoon, which is a pretty old game, 9-year-old game. So that game was one of the first games on the market within this genre. And last year we launched another game which is called Idle Bank Tycoon. So again, we focus on the same genre right now, and yeah, we hope to produce more games next year. So for us, main challenges last year were limited data visibility. So due to data privacy, of course, we have less reliable data, and also higher competition. So idle games vertical is highly competitive. So we see more and more competitors coming to the market, and it is becoming more challenging to acquire users profitably.
Right, thank you for that. So I heard a lot of keywords, commonalities that we are going to talk about. But to start things off, over the last year, I think one of the biggest challenges, certainly that we heard of, that most app marketers went through, was navigating the privacy regulations, right? Ever so strict privacy regulations. So my first question is the million-dollar question. How have you navigated these challenges? I will start with you. And what have you tried to mitigate them?
It's been really hard in general. It's already been, I think, 3-4 years now that we are trying to navigate them. First, big one, moving from a user level attribution model to a more holistic approach. Try to not relying on only one source of information, but also, leveraging how did you hear about us, the survey, self-attribution survey at the onboarding of the app store, Connect, Play Store, try to measure impact of channel through incrementality test. So we're trying a lot and building a sort of internal model to help us measure the real impact that channels and campaign are bringing in. Secondly, funnel diversification is the way we try to go around the limitation that we are facing on, especially on iOS and app. So we built a web onboarding, and we run also web to app campaign with a middle landing page, mini landing page in the middle. So instead of bringing the user straight to the app store, we leverage web campaign, web setting, move them to a landing page, and then from the landing page, they do have like a big download button, and we address the user straight to the app store. So this funnel diversification helped us a lot because on web you still have user level visibility. And third, creative. Creative has been a key for us. As you know, now that there is less manual control on the campaign level, network don't have the same visibility. The way to target user is through the creative, is through the messages, through the copy. And yeah, we built a creative team, we built a creative production framework and testing, which helped us a lot over the past few years.
Thank you. Marta, what have you, I know you've been there for only 7 months, but I feel like you've kind of gotten right into the new privacy regulations with SCAN and, you know, with the sandbox coming. So how have you navigated? Did you try anything interesting that you can share with us?
Absolutely. So I'm very lucky to have an amazing backend team and also a data team that supports us. So to be real honest, we were only able to do a bit of the groundwork and preparation work for the Android sandbox. This is something that is still undergoing and which is something that we are still implementing and preparing for. So we've done some tests and they seem to work, but actually, as we speak now, they are rolling out some backend changes, which will allow us for better and more accurate measurements. So I'm very excited to see how this will unfold. I'll only be able to maybe follow up on that.
Yeah, let us know.
When it comes to iOS, we've been struggling quite a bit, especially with paid social and Meta platform. This has been something that we've been trying to test and have not given up on. However, I have to admit that we were to some extent defeated, and we've decided to double down on things that actually work for us when it comes to channels. Yes. For now, I would say this is still something that we're working on, as I think everyone else here is. But I would say that it's still ongoing. And yeah, when it comes to learning, it's not so much to share yet.
Thank you. And Misha, about you at Kolibri Games?
One of the main challenges that we tackled this year was implementation of CMP into all our games, just to follow GDPR and all the regulations that we have to follow. So we spent a lot of time testing different solutions, because what we observed is that even if you just implement a new pop-up in the beginning of the game, of course, there is a churn rate. So about 5% of users just see the pop-up and they just uninstall the game or just leave the game. So this is one of the challenges that, of course, increased our cost per install and made our user acquisition harder. And then, of course, depending on the region, there is a different consent rate. So meaning that we just lose visibility over some portion of our users. Depending on the region, it can be up to 20%. So, and of course, it impacts negatively our performance marketing on one side and ad monetization on the product side. Why? Because ad networks algorithms rely on data, right? And the more data we send to them, the better efficiency we should expect. Of course, if we stop sending data, we should expect decrease in performance. So this is what we observed, and we tried to optimize our flow in the beginning of the game just to make the onboarding smoother. Plus, moreover, we tested a couple of more advanced solutions that allow us to measure performance in the new, like, incremental way. But that was challenging. I still believe that there are good solutions on the market, but they are not ready to be implemented and to be used in day-to-day operations on the USA to make UA user acquisition profitable, unfortunately. So yeah, those challenges we tackled a lot, and I believe there are more challenges coming next year, especially connected to COPPA and the regulations around data for children. So this is what we would like to tackle this year and next year as well.
Great. Thank you. And Matej, you're a rare breed who's not affected by privacy regulations yet.
Right. Kind of. I wouldn't say it wasn't, but we approached it kind of differently. What it forced us to do was to explore different platforms where we might expand with our game portfolio. I mean, we are currently developing our games always mobile first. What this whole thing forced us to do is focus on the web or different platforms as well. And we were exploring alternative stores back in the day, like I'm talking about the Huawei Gallery, the Amazon store, and it was not working very well for us. Currently, we are more than willing to explore those opportunities once again because of the current situation that's going on. And yeah, so currently we're focusing on the web. We'll be expanding to different platforms. Even though the games are very, very polished for the mobile version, we are considering the option to explore the Steam as well, different platforms like, I don't know, maybe even Switch, but it's like a kind of a stretch, but it's still on the table.
Right. So you basically use channel diversification as like a way to react to these market changes. And I heard you all actually talk about it. There's a bigger piece between all of us. And Jessica, you mentioned about competition in terms of your challenges. Rising costs, inflation. So this has been then the diversification has been kind of a means to solve this.
Yeah, exactly. Indeed. So this raising cost and competition, it was mainly impacting traditional channel like Meta, Google Ads, TikTok, and Paired was relying a lot on Meta, especially in the first year I joined the company. So the first thing we tried before funnel diversification was to try to expand our presence, diversify our channel, not only on TikTok, which is raising acquisition channel, Google Ads, but also try the less traditional channel, like for example influencer, podcast, YouTube. Long-term partnership with influencer on Instagram, TikTok, and it did help. It did help a lot because this acquisition channel is less competitive because it's really hard to penetrate. It's less impacted by seasonality, and it's harder to replicate by other players and other competitors. Indeed, it does have its own cons, its own challenges. So
tell us a bit about the challenges.
Yeah. So it's been, we started 2 years ago, and only now we are really starting scaling. So it was hard because not for every product influencer is a good fit. It does require, first, much time, resources. So we do have a dedicated person to take care of influencer partnership. We are working with agency, especially when it comes to podcast and YouTube. Time and resources is the first one. Of course, the challenge with trackability. It's way hard to track and attribute traffic that comes from influencer, especially if you want to attribute the traffic to the right influencer, and if you run them all together at the same time for the same country. So we tried. Sorry,
we should talk about.
Yeah, we tried. So we are leveraging, for example, dedicated landing page, dedicated code. We are, of course. How did you hear about us? Survey is fundamental for us in this case. We are also been trying to measure. The incremental impact coming from influencer through incrementality test, and up to the end, we were able to identify multiplier to apply to this influencer, to this channel for YouTube, podcast, and Instagram and TikTok, for example. Just a quick one. Podcast, when user they listen to to episode and so on, they barely leverage they barely go to the episode the description, look for the link, click the link, and go to our dedicated page. So it's fundamental there to be able to track the impact, to measure, to use and leverage. How did you hear about us? The survey and so on. So it was really a challenge, but right now it's helping a lot in terms of, try to diversify our user acquisition, try to face the increasing cost we are seeing in Meta and TikTok, and also it's helping on our building our brand and our category, which is another challenge for Paired being a new vertical.
So speaking about brand, I know that when we discussed before, Marta, you mentioned some challenges around measuring brand campaigns, those branding ads. Can you tell us a little bit about those issues you've faced?
Absolutely. So in my case, when I've joined, the first thing I wanted to tackle was brand consistency, as we had different elements, different colors across different media. So this was the first thing I wanted to tackle, and which is still actually being tackled. Lots of icon experiments to bring, fresh, vibrant look to the brand. And obviously bringing a new designer on board who has also a lot of ideas that tackle along with lots of performance marketing campaigns, user acquisition campaigns that have to be vibrant, but have to be vivid. So this has been something that has definitely not been easy. And when it comes to the measurement, especially icon experiments on Google, I think I don't know how often this is being measured by you guys, whether you do a lot of experiments on that. But unfortunately, it's not that simple. No matter what icon you bring, it seems to be always losing. Running A/B tests, especially in different markets, can bring different results. And now how do you make this final call? Okay, you have a global brand and you want to establish a global presence, and you have different results in different markets, right? So this is the first thing. So we have actually tested probably more than 20 different icons across different channels on Google Play. It's been still ongoing, and now we actually made it even more sophisticated for ourselves. We are running AABB experiments to determine whether it actually makes sense in the first place. When it comes to brand experiments on UA, we have not done that many of those, because at the end of the day, it's all about monetization. I think many of us can refer to that point. And, when you go back to your KPI board at the end, that is what matters. But yes, branding and creating this consistent look across different channels is something that is of core importance to us, and we won't give up until we have determined the winners and reach the point where we can actually move on with a fresh, upgraded brand look.
Great. So that actually brings me to the next point I want to dig deeper, is the creative. So we are seeing this from our customers as well, and it's just incredible how creatives have evolved, right, in the recent years. Like, they're much more immersive, they're interactive, you have the fake gameplay, they're more personalized. So I want to, I know you mentioned Matej as one of your struggles, also Misha. I want to kind of focus on the gaming side when it comes to creative. Misha, maybe we can start with you. What have you tried, with the gameplays, with the polished ads and all those A/B testing? Tell us a little bit.
Yes, of course. So creatives is an essential part of user acquisition, of course, especially for gaming. So what we observed on our side is that ads on the gaming side became more, I would say, aggressive, meaning that obviously everyone observed a shift from 30 seconds videos to 60 seconds videos, which is good maybe because we can show the game from different sides and engage users more. But of course, we should expect probably negative impact on user experience who watches ads in our games as well. Plus, on our side at Kolibri Games, we believe that playable ads is key to acquire high-value users. So that is why we produce a lot of playable ads usually. And what we unlocked this year, I would say, is this is what we call seamless user experience, meaning that we build a video about the game. So sometimes it can be like actual gameplay or polished gameplay. Then we produce a playable ad with exactly the same mechanics like was shown in the video. And then we have a custom product page on Google Play or App Store with exactly the same gameplay that was shown in the video and in the playable ad. Sometimes we double down on the actual gameplay. Sometimes we show something more advanced, more polished, more adjusted sometimes, just to engage more broader audience. So it works well. It helps us to increase IPM by 10%, and this is what gives us competitive advantage on the market, and this is what helps us to fight with competition on the market in general. So of course it is a really challenging approach because you have to produce video, produce playable ad, produce custom product page, And moreover, you have to test all the combinations between different videos, different playable ads. So we face a lot of challenges on how to test everything efficiently. You have so many combinations to test, but it also unlocks much better performance for us. So this is what I would recommend to everyone to test: is building story from the ad to playable ad to customer web page, and you can also make another step and present gameplay or some feature of the game right in the game. So when a user installs the game from a specific campaign or specific ad, they can keep playing the same mechanic that they saw before in this pipeline, this funnel. So this is what helped us to improve our user acquisition performance this year.
For those insights.
I have to agree with Misha on a majority of the things, and we've been doing pretty much the same thing. We've been pushing our kind of real gameplay ads for a long time, but there was a trend with fake ads we had to just jump on because it was outperforming pretty much everything that we were trying to run. And we were doing the same approach, implement the fake fake ads into the store listing, into the custom product pages, make sure there is a transparent user flow. And however, whenever the potential players came into the game and had seen that the game is not actually what we were presenting it to be, we've seen the retention drop pretty much plummet. And how we are trying to tackle this particular issue is that we are trying to implement the mini games, which are pretty much based on the fake ads that we are promoting, into the early stages of the game and try to mitigate the retention drop this way. And it's been working okay. Not all of the mini games are working great, but it's a continuous process, so it never ends. And we are still trying to find the best performing ones. And we are the number one thing we are trying to achieve to keep the transparent user flow there.
That's really interesting that you're actually going from the ad and make a game, not the other way around. No, that's really interesting. And another thing that's relevant to this that we hear a lot is creative fatigue.
Yeah.
Matej, you talked about this a little bit when we were chatting before.
Yeah.
How do you go around that? Because that happens, especially with now channel diversification. You have to do more. People see the same ads. How do you go around that?
I mean, it's like a never-ending cycle. Even though we had a case during the summer where we thought we found like another like golden creative that's gonna push us through summer and maybe even for a longer period of time. Unfortunately, it was a fake ad, and we were reporting it kind of differently. And what we found out that the retention pretty much plummeted, just like I mentioned before. And the reporting that we received from the data team was relying on a different model. Therefore, we had to kind of iterate or maybe just cut the budget that we were trying to push to this particular creative. And the whole process started again. So it's a never-ending process of brainstorming, coming up with the ideas, using AI a lot for ideation, but mostly looking to our competitors for inspiration. And that's it. Just going in circles, pretty much.
Anyone else want to add anything on creative fatigue? Anything that you've experienced?
With him. I mean, in general, having a flow that you run every single week, so exploration, production, testing, and learning on a weekly basis, it helps. So you need to invest a lot on creatives and testing in general. So I don't know if you have a creative team internalized in the company, but I think that helped us a lot. Just internalizing the whole process, asking support for external agency when it comes to, for example, we work with freelancer to boost more the production or to help us coming up with ideas. But in general, having it internalized in the company can really help you. And of course, AI tools is the other step.
Because we are basically legally bound to talk about AI. So let's talk about it. Let's start with AI. One of the key learnings that I've heard from all of you when obviously we've talked about this before, getting ready for this session, was the importance of personalization. So maybe, Marta, we can start with you. How do you incorporate AI into your personalization, creative, in general UA acquisition strategies?
Absolutely. So in our case, we do regular weekly brainstorming and we roll out new value proposition concepts pretty much every 2 weeks. When it comes to decision, how do we come up with that? We follow closely editorial calendar, so we check what is relevant for our audience, for the prospect users, but also what is relevant, out there in the world. So, for instance, now we have finished a cyber detox campaign. So we are always trying to buy into trends, but also implement learnings from the previous campaigns that have been rolled out over the years. And obviously, when it comes to AI, it simplifies the process. The extent of simplification is just tremendous. When it comes to AI, we just do that. When it comes to ad copies, we try to focus on those best performing ones and then come up with synonyms and like those that are capturing the main message. And when it comes to the creatives, obviously we are using as well AI generated assets with different results. In some markets they perform pretty well, in others they don't. So we try to keep the mix of both to keep up the pace and also to stick to the brand, because that is something that I've mentioned earlier. Having this consistency is extremely relevant, not only for the users but know us, or maybe don't know us, but also for our design team, right? They want to make sure that we are not forgetting these elements. I would say that, I can't imagine life without AI anymore. The time and effort it saves is just incredible.
Yeah. Jessica, you're nodding a lot. That,
I'm fully aligned with what she said. I mean, in general, personalization has been key, and also with what Misha mentioned about having a full funnel personalized. So if you're starting with an ad that, in my case for paired, if you're starting with an ad that talks about the struggle of being new parents, how to recreate the intimacy, regain intimacy, in the ad we want to bring the same topic in the landing page or in the custom product page, and eventually even in the onboarding, when the user go through the onboarding, reply to the question we ask, and they share a struggle about rekindle the intimacy. We want to offer them games, quizzes, question that is related to this topic, because then the user will feel heard, understood, and it's gonna support and help a conversion along the funnel and boost your profitability in general. So personalization is important, and also the AI tools that for generating ideas, iterating on copies is key for a creative production. There are so many out there.
Hey, do you have anything to add?
On the AI, yeah, we use it kind of differently. We are developing our own internal AI model that is a combination of whatever is available on the market, and it helps us speed up the production better. Meaning that we have a 2D game, and what we are able to achieve with the AI tool is we trained it to produce the 2D assets in a particular art style that is very, very relevant to the game, and it saves up the time of the visual artist, because essentially you are able to produce a 2D asset, and it's a finished asset. You can just take it, animate it, and saves a lot of time. Super helps with localization, which goes on the topic of the personalization. When it comes to submitting the promotional content cards or custom product pages, whenever I need to help speed things up with localization, I'm relying on the AI models. Yeah, that's been saving a lot of time, a lot of time.
Thank you. So how has been your experience with AI?
So on our side, we have a really strong data team in-house, but we focus more on the classic data analysis. So when we think about the personalization of the user experience in our games, we rely mostly on the data analysis by our data team. So we apply different techniques how to provide personalized experience. But we, of course, work with multiple partners who use AI on their side, and on the creative side, on the data analysis side, and of course, when it comes to ASO, so AI is super useful there to optimize your store pages around the world.
Great. I see that we have a few questions. Before we get to them, if I can just ask very quickly, I need to do a closing question, right? What is in your to-do list for 2025? Misha, let's start with you. What is it that you think, okay, I'm going to start the year and I'm going to do these things. I'm going to tackle them. I'm going to, create them, whatever it might be on your to-do list.
So one first thing is about personalization. It's a big topic for us because we see that by working with 20 plus different user acquisition channels, we see that user behavior in our game is completely different, especially when it comes to incentivized channels, let's say. So the idea is to provide different user groups or user segments with different user experience in terms of balancing how hard the game is in terms of monetization. So this is what we want to work on next year. And I would say diversifying our user acquisition mix is a big thing for us. We see that relying on one or two big partners is a threat for us. So that is why we want to be in control of our performance on the user acquisition side and be competitive. So that's why working with more channels and learn how to acquire users profitably from more different channels, including social media, incentivized channels, or any other kind of channel, is key for us in next year.
Thank you. Marta?
I would say in our case, it's definitely exploring playable ads. That's why I was very captivated by what Misha was saying regarding the best practices, because this is just what we've kickstarted. Our product is essentially a collection of different trainings, which are technically games. So I believe that this could be a great opportunity for us. We are exploring it, and definitely I might have a follow-up with Misha to find out more about that. We see pretty good results. And on top of that, obviously, paid social, second biggest thing, which we must tap into.
Thank you. Matej?
Oh, I'd love to automate all the tedious tasks I'm encountering, try to incorporate AI into those even more, and make sure that our testing process from creatives to the landing pages or custom store listings is even is reworked and improved, making sure there's the transparent user flow aligned all the time, and exploring Apple searches a bit more in correlation to the ASO.
Thank you.
And I think for Pair that we want to focus more on web onboarding. So try to make it the biggest funnel of acquisition for us, and also turn influencer into one of the biggest acquisition channel for the company, indeed, while keep investing in creatives and AI tools, indeed.
We do have questions, but I think we've run out of. Just pretend we don't see it and have a few questions.
Yeah.
Is there anything that you want to answer?
Oh.
That jumps out of you.
Well, we don't use TikTok app campaigns because it's not our core audience. We tried to explore it, but it was not working for us because our players just were not there.
Is TikTok,
no, indeed, it's we are using TikTok a lot. It's a struggle because again, it's relying a lot on creative production. You need to be really smart when it comes to UGC. Luckily, they do have this new feature and product, which is the TikTok challenge, the TikTok exchange, that is helping. We do use them as a good source of traffic.
There's a question directed to you, Jessica, at the bottom. Maybe we can take that and close our session.
So as you said, you use multiple data attribution tools. How do you define what is your source of truth? Good question.
I didn't ask it.
So, it's true. We have been trying to build an internal model to identify to give the right credit to the right channel and the right campaign. So at the beginning, we have been using, as I mentioned, how did you hear about us survey, the MMP, the network information. We tried to leverage also App Store Connect and Play Store Connect as well. And based on this, we built our own model. Let's say it's more on an internal work with collaborating with our data science team, and yes, based on now our source of truth is that model. We challenge it every now and then. It's important to keep fine tune it because it's not gonna remain the same. Also with the web web onboarding, web to app, it did have its own impact on the model, but indeed it's pretty reliable and.
Thank you. We'll be here all day. If you have any follow-up questions, come and find us. I'll be at the AppsFlyer booth, I think booth number 1. Thank you so much, and thank you for my wonderful panel. Thank you for your insights.
Thank you.